Hi, my name is Anthony James Oxenine. I would like to welcome you to my week 4 presentation of how to live on a budget. The goal of this presentation is to help understand the benefits of having a budget, the importance of sticking to it, some tips, tricks, and strats to help accomplish these goals. Money is one of the most important things in life today. In fact, we've all been in situations where after we paid all of our expenses, we have been strapped for cash, and many of us have actually been dead broke. If any emergency came up, or if anything needed our immediate attention, we were simply too broke to do anything about it. In fact, ever since the economic crisis a few years ago, with unemployment on the rise, many families have been on the verge of homelessness, living from paycheck to paycheck. Studies have shown that families have increased their dependence on programs such as TAMP and SNAP benefits to help meet the basic necessities they do as human beings. While some of these things are avoidable, having a budget can help decrease the chances that your family would ever be in one of these situations. As a result, though, money is one of the biggest stressors on American life. Many Americans stay up late each night wondering how they're going to pay the next bill, or if a debt collector is going to call. It shortens the lives of many people, and is something that can help be avoided by creating a budget. So now you understand the importance of it. Where does it all start, though? Well, the first thing you should do whenever you decide to make a budget is to actually sit down and plan it out. Taking into account the amount of money that you receive and the amount of expenses that you must meet is the first goal to actually creating and sticking to a budget. So now you sat down and you thought it out and you decided, hey, we need to create a budget. What should be the first thing we spend our money on? The first thing that you should always spend your money on is your expenses first. The basic things you need to live in society. Mortgages, car payments, car insurance, the things that you need to survive today. These should always be the number one priorities in your life, and they should be met before all other things are. Because if you don't have a roof to live under, you're not going to have much use for your money anyway. Another thing that you should do, and a lot of people neglect to do when they're on a budget, is to save. If you're on a budget, you're stretching pennies. So if you can save more pennies to stretch at a later date, that's nothing but good. Having a large chunk of your disposable income invested in savings is a great way to avoid any financial trouble. So you started saving and you put all your money away from your expenses. What's the next major thing that you should work on? Well, food is usually the second most expensive thing that families spend their money on each month. So creating a grocery list and sticking to it and planning out exactly what you're going to eat, when you're going to eat, and how much money to spend on it is very important. One thing that we as Americans as a culture do is that we tend to spend too much. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has 2 or 3 things in their refrigerator that's probably past their expiration date. Buying too much of something and not using it is just like if you spent it and threw it in the trash, because it's basically what you're doing. So you need to plan out your money and exactly what to spend it on. Another thing that you should avoid doing is you should avoid fast food or dining out. Just take this Whopper combo for example. This is $3.99. If you buy 10 of these a month, that's basically $40. $40 could go to your car insurance, to the roof over your head. That's even a cell phone bill, which is another luxury that you don't necessarily need. So be smart about it. And another thing about dining in as opposed to eating out is that it's a family activity. It's something that you can do to have more fun. You can control the portions and make it more healthy on it, and you can actually decide exactly how much of something you need or you want. It's way more economical, and it just makes better sense in the long run. So you spent all your money on food and you made sure you had a roof over your head and a car to drive. Now you have the cash left over. What should you do with it? Well, now's the time to actually spend it on luxury stuff. But before you spend it on anything, you need to ask yourself, do I really need this? Is this going to be better to buy, or just leave it where it is? How much of a good thing is actually a good thing? So one of the main things you should ask yourself anytime you make a big purchase, especially something that's very expensive, is does it fulfill me in the ways I want it to? Does it actually want to change my life or improve it? Am I going to be better off with the item or not? If the answer to those questions are no, maybe you shouldn't buy it. Maybe you should put your money to better things, that's into more savings or into expenses down the line. And if something that you have to buy for whatever reason, that you absolutely need it as a necessity or you just can't live without it, one thing you should ask yourself is, can I find this cheaper? Can I find a way to reduce the cost of this item, like shopping around, haggling? Haggling is a great tool that no one uses. And another tool that a lot of people don't use that can help really reduce the expenses of stuff is coupons. Coupons are your best friend. They are nothing but free money printed out on cardboard and other pieces of paper. When you start looking at all the 50 cents off and say 50% off that a coupon offers and actually look at the real monetary value that it gives you, it's a lot of money. So you should never ever not use them, especially if you want to adhere to a budget. So what does this mean? Well, you should be your own discount cell. You should be vigilant and look for deals anywhere you can get it. Deals on food, deals on the things that you want, but you can't necessarily afford. By making these things cheaper, you can actually fit them into your budget, or your life doesn't suffer and you have more incentive to stay on a budget, because if you're actually buying things you want while you're on a budget, you're more likely to stay on it. Another thing you can do to help stretch your money even more is to just find ways of avoiding to spend money. Like a lot of Americans, and a lot of people in general, spend money on entertainment, video games, movies, traveling. So if you can find any way to add entertainment or fulfillment to your life without the need of money, you're doing nothing but a benefit to yourself. So even with all your smart spending on food and all your smart spending on luxuries and you making sure that you have a roof over your head, the everyday expenses can add up. Travel, commuting. So one way you can cut down on that is to just be smarter about it. Bicycling, carpooling, all these activities can help you save money even more. So the main thing that you really have to think about and bring into consideration, that being on a budget, creating it, managing it, and sticking to it is more than a lifestyle change. It's a mindset change. How you approach money, how you spend money, these are ingrained in the way that you think. So you're not just going to get by on a budget. You have to fundamentally change the way that you think and the way that you approach money in general. But after all is said and done, and after you take your expenses and you pay them and you make sure that you have food in your stomach, you reach that point to where you see the stack of bills paid and it's worth it. That's the importance of a budget. Just taking care of the things that you need to take care of. Thank you for watching my presentation. Bye.